Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Timpedia. Welcome to a new Star Wars vlog. Today I'm going to talk about something, another topic. I'm going to talk about somewhat of the same thing. I'm going to talk a little bit about Episode 7 and why I'm kind of excited for it. And I'm also going to talk about the need for new stories in Star Wars. So, first off, let me talk about Episode 7. So, Episode 7... not much is known about it yet. I don't know much. I haven't read a ton about it. I don't really care until it's closer to coming out. I don't want to be like, oh my god, I must tear apart every detail. Oh, they said it's 20 years. I don't know. I don't even know if 20 years is a real number. It's in the future. It's not a prequel. That'd be strange and not necessary. But, oh, sorry. But I don't really care. I'm not really worried about it, so I think it'll be good. I'll obviously go see it in theaters when it comes out. I think it's supposed to be coming out in winter like Christmas time 2015. So hey, 2 years from now, basically, I'll be seeing the new Star Wars movie. Yay! That totally affects my life right now. Not at all. Anyway. Why am I excited for it, though? If I don't know what the timeline is, if they're kind of redoing all the canon, it sounds like Disney's just kind of gonna have them rework some canon, maybe take some basic things like the Solo children and things like that. I don't know much. Why am I excited? While I was home, over the holidays, I watched the new Star Trek movie, Into Darkness, twice. I watched it just to watch it, and I watched it because one of my best friends had not seen it yet, and he's a Star Trek fan. Now, this movie caused a lot of controversy. There's a lot of people who love it, don't hate it. I tend to like it a lot. I like the new Star Trek movies. Maybe it's just because I'm a modern audience, and I'm a loser, and I'm stupid, and I just want action dumbness. I like the movie. I'm not going to apologize for it. If you don't like it, that's fine. I can totally understand that there's reasons not to like it. But having watched Wrath of Khan, thinking Wrath of Khan is really cool, and then watching this and thinking it's really good, I love them. They're both great. I really enjoyed Into Darkness. What does that have to do with Star Wars? Well, as you probably know, if you're sub to my channel and are here for Star Wars, which you probably are, J.J. Abrams, who directed that movie, is also directing the new Star Wars movie. So what? I liked his Star Trek movie. Why does that mean I like his Star Wars movie? While I was home, I watched a bunch of extras that came with the Blu-ray. My dad had the Blu-ray, and we watched through a whole bunch of extras that they had. We didn't have like a super collector's edition, but there's a bunch of extras. And a lot of them went into how they came up with like the story and also how they made the movie. Now, this may not sound like a big deal, but there's one very specific line. I'm gonna spoil some of Into Darkness if you don't know it already. You probably do. But Benedict Cumberbatch, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is Khan from Wrath of Khan. Well, not from, but same character. And a lot of old-timey fans, super hardcore, saw Khan as this white British guy and not Ricardo Montalban from Wrath of Khan, and were pissed. They're like, this is not, even though you're changing the universe, he should still be the same ethnicity and stuff. And in one of the segments where they're actually talking about Khan, JJ says something that I find to be super encouraging. He said, I know it doesn't fit with what came before, but I'm more concerned with it being good than completely in line with what came before. That statement alone totally gives me faith as to how he'll do this. There's also other things like his incredible desire to have a lot of practical effects, which fucking George Lucas couldn't give a shit about. He wants everything to be CGI. He wants everything to be in computers. And I love computers, obviously. CGI is really cool. But having something in front of the camera feels so real and just incredible. You can't get it with CGI. It's basically, it's kind of like I don't know what the word for it is. There's like a sense that you have when watching a very CGI movie that it's almost too good looking and too crisp that even if they make every little hair stand out, it's like it's too real to believe. And the best way to get rid of that is to just put it as much in front of the camera as you can. And I was blown away by some of the stuff that was in front of the camera in Into Darkness. There's a scene inside of a volcano where they don't have the lava, but all the fire shooting up and the sparks in front of the actor were sparks that they shot in front of this guy. And there's a scene where there's this literally massive cargo hold on this giant ship. And there's a guy running along the whole thing. There's this high-up camera view, and you're just watching, and you're like, okay, that could have been a CGI thing. Just a little model running along. No, they found a giant old airplane hangar, just put black flooring down, some lights, and just had the guy run. And it looks so good. And they had the guys like on wires tumbling across the ground and flying across. So much cooler looking than CGI. That kind of filmmaking and that kind of dedication to wanting to make it good over every minute detail is really awesome to me. Now, I recognize that sometimes I've been like, this is wrong, this story is wrong. And because I know more about Star Wars and Star Trek, maybe I'll have a problem with it. But at the same time, as long as it's good, I hope that I, as a film viewer, can recognize that it's good even if it doesn't meet with exactly what I know has come before. Even if my knowledge recognizes that it's wrong, I hope that I can still enjoy the movie. I hope that I am able to do that as a moviegoer. That doesn't excuse problems. That doesn't excuse things like that. That's just how I want to be. I want to be able to watch this movie and think, this is great. Maybe Han and Leia have a fourth kid and there's no fourth kid, or does Luke and Mara have a second kid, or Mara's not Luke's wife, but they still have Ben. And I don't know. Those are totally ridiculous things, but okay. If it's good, it's good. It shouldn't be bashed for lack of quality just because you disagree with how they've taken the story. That being said, there's still plenty of ways they could do it wrong, and maybe the story is just not good. If that's the case, then I'll not like the movie, and Star Wars will be in even more trouble than it is now. I bought the last new ebook, Razor's Edge, or book, Razor's Edge. I'm reading it right now on my Kindle. It's right on my bed. And it's interesting, but I don't know. It's one of the last things to have come out before Disney bought Lucas, and this whole thing changed. And it doesn't seem like there's much coming out right now. Excited and not excited. This is kind of going into the second topic of I want new stories. Now, in Razor's Edge, early on, if you've ever read The Back to War, there was a scene where Wedge Antilles and Rogue Squadron go to the debris field of Alderaan, the graveyard it's called, and they are there to make a deal, or to make a deal with some rogue Imperials or something. They're traitors. It's kind of complicated. And they get ambushed, and his second-in-command, Tycho Selchu, I think I'm pronouncing that right, has an Alderaanian identifier on his X-Wing. He just did it to remember Alderaan, and because at that time they're not part of the New Republic military, so they're kind of going all customized and single ship idea, like have my own ship design. And because he does that, an Alderaanian little automated frigate shoots out of the debris field and starts helping them, and basically saves the day. It's the coolest little scene ever. It's this little ship, it's automated, and it turns out it was this Alderaanian patrol frigate that had returned to Alderaan from a far-flung mission, came back at the debris field and just sat there. Didn't really know what to do until Tycho came along and used his targeting computer to tell it, oh, I'm an Alderaanian, go shoot this thing. Okay, here I go. So in Razor's Edge, very early on, the story is about Leia, Han, and a bunch of Alliance people going to meet with a merchant when they're trying to build Echo Base, right before Episode 5. And they get to this meeting point after being, of course, Leia and Han, their ship, literally the book starts and they're under attack by an Imperial Corvette. They barely manage to get away, and they get to the rendezvous, and the merchant ship there's a merchant ship under attack by an Alderaanian frigate. Similar, I think, in design and function to the one in Back to War. Didn't really need to talk about that, but I did anyway. Fuck it. So, they meet up with the crew, and the crew is actually Alderaanians. They are Alderaanians who were manning this frigate when They were on a far-out patrol in the Alderaanian system. The Death Star came in. They rushed back into the system, and before they could get there, the Death Star blew up Alderaan, and they didn't know what to do. They kind of tried to meet up with the Alliance, with some other Alderaanian frigate people. There was like Alderaan was pacifist, but they had a very small set of ships. Like it was a handful of patrol ships just for general safety. Many of these ships joined the Alliance afterward, but this ship didn't. They kind of struck it off on their own. They didn't like some of the things about the Alliance for some reason. I forget. They explain in the book the motivations of the captain, who the crew is like religiously dedicated to. Like they'll follow this captain into whatever, because later on they get into this private military thing where they start doing private military operations, and then they fall in with pirates, and they're pirates at the start of the book. I haven't read if they change or anything. I'm saying at the start of the book you meet them, and they're a pirate group manning an Alderaanian war frigate, and then Leia finds out they're actually from Alderaan. And they have this really tough story about how they kind of hint at the fact that, like, we didn't know what to do. We were kind of terrified. We didn't know what to do. And we kind of just guessed. And even the captain has one moment of weakness where she's like, I didn't know what to do. My crew was looking to me. I had no answers for them, so we kind of just did what we could. We did the best we could. And my point here, I gotta cut it short. I'm getting an important Skype call, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But my point here is Star Wars needs stories like this. Stories that aren't Han and Leia saving the day, Luke swooping in. Luke's in the book for like 3 seconds. I'm like over halfway through and he's been in like 2 pages. It's fucking weird. But there needs to be more. There needs to be more to Star Wars. Like I've said it before, Star Wars needs more personal stories, and this is a great example. Could you imagine reading a story where an Alderaanian crew gets back to Alderaan just after the Death Star has blown it up? They're receiving transmissions live from Alderaan as it blows up, and they don't want to join the Alliance because something happens. There's a huddling of these ships. They decide not to go. What do you do? How do you survive in a galaxy where you hate the Empire, you don't want to join the Alliance? What happens? I just think it would make a very interesting story, and I hope that with Disney they decide to try out these things. Han and Leia and Luke are great, awesome characters, but they're not... It's like it's worn out on them. They've been around so long. They've been around almost an actual span of their lifetime, if you can think about it that way. Like, Star Wars is like shockingly old, and like these characters have been along half as long as they're actually aged in the books. Like in Crucible, they're like 60, and they've been around over 30 years now. That's fucking nuts, okay? Like, they're over half as physically old as they are in books, and books can do whatever they want. It's just mind-boggling, and they're amazing, and I just think we need new stories. Doesn't even have to be like KOTOR. It doesn't have to be Revan, another super powerful guy. Could be anything. Make it a small story. Not an MMO. An MMO isn't the right way to do it. Just make it something that's not galaxy-defining. I know that feels like there's less weight to it, but if you do it right, you can make there be more weight to it, I think. Then it's like, yeah, the galaxy's in danger. How many fucking games have I played where the galaxy is in danger? I mean, come on. Mass Effect, Star Wars, blah, 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 blah. I know I just only listed 2, but fuck it. You know what I mean? There's always the world's in danger. What if you're just trying to survive? You don't find a mystical pile of gold or a wizard who will help you on your way, or an old Jedi Master. You just have to survive in this galaxy. All you have is this ship, your crew. What do you do to keep them alive and safe in this horrible galaxy? What do you do to keep their stomachs full? I just think it'd be very interesting. I'm going to go, guys. I got a Skype call to get. But I do hope I explained myself as to why I'm excited for Episode 7. and why I think Star Wars could use some new stories. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed this Star Wars vlog. There'll be more to come shortly, don't worry. But until then, my name is Timpedia, and I will catch you guys later.